but I am back this week going strong, and I'll have a special guest, Jay Crater, senior contributor with the Rideshare Guy, who I'll introduce here in a second. So if this is your first time watching live, welcome. Since the stimulus issues have been going on and all of these updates are required, and really since the start of pandemic, we've been trying to go live each and every single week. So if this is your first time joining, welcome to the Rideshare Guy YouTube channel. And if you're back for more, thank you very much for joining, subscribing, and I'll ask a quick favor of you right now. Just go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and also turn notifications on. That's sort of the best way to find out when we go live, so that you get a little 30-minute heads up if you have notifications on, and then you will also get a notification when we go live. So I'm going to bring in senior Rideshare Guy contributor Jay Crater, who's been covering really all of these issues, and he's sort of been the go-to person when it comes to stimulus, unemployment, PPP, EIDL, Uber and Lyft sick pay. And is there anything I'm missing, Jay?
No, I think you got it all. It's there's about a handful of things that drivers can get.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all of the coverage you've been doing over on the Rideshare Guy YouTube channel. And right now we actually are streaming live to YouTube, the Facebook page, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So we'll see. I'll be sharing some comments in from our users. So it looks like we've got Adrian from Anaheim. We've got a bunch of other folks that are filtering through in the chat. So feel free, if you guys are watching live right now, go ahead and chime in on the live chat. Let us know. We're going to make this super interactive and try to answer as many questions as possible. I know Jay has been doing sort of weekly updates on the stimulus and unemployment, so those are good resources on the YouTube channel. And we've got, anytime there's sort of late breaking news, we'll be coming out with all of that, and you guys can take advantage of all of the content and information there. So everything's sounding good and looking good on your end, Jay?
Yeah. Let's talk to the peeps.
All right, let's talk to the people. And it looks like we do have a lot of people joining in right now on YouTube. I see our first comment from Alan on the Facebook page. So Jay, I've got this cool new software where I can actually bring the comments into the video, which you may have seen. So we've got people joining from New Orleans, really all over the place. And I know you're looking through these comments right now, Jay. Is there any topic that you sort of want to start us off on, and then we'll get into all of the questions?
Well, I got up this morning at 5 o'clock to apply for unemployment here in California. The PUA program was launched this morning, and it was very, very similar to questions about being an independent contractor. And the surprising thing I found was that they're actually not paying you in. They're going to be putting money into the bank accounts, but you only get paid in 2 days if you already have one of the little debit cards. So what they're going to do is mail everybody a debit card, and that's going to take 4 to 7 days. So it's still going to be another week. And there was also no confirmation, nothing. So we're just kind of in a hold and wait and see kind of hope those cards arrive.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely, I would say it's tough, but it's also just confusing. So that's sort of where, we have you on the channel really trying to help folks negotiate kind of what they need to know, where they need to go and everything. So we're up to almost a couple hundred people watching live right now across all the different platforms. So I say we start getting into a couple of these questions and...
Wait a second. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and like this thing here. Let me click on that little like button there. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I think it is important for you to make sure that you liked the video, and let's see. I think this question is interesting right here from Dennis. He says, Jay, I filed an appeal, so I followed suit. Now I learn I can't file PUA because of the appeal. Can I cancel my claim, or how long to get an answer on the appeal? And I guess the background, just so maybe you can sort of tell people, what's your process been? Like, how have you gone and filed for unemployment? Because I know you sort of are in California, so you went directly for unemployment, and now you're trying the PUA, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, Dennis, I saw that It said it didn't say if you filed an appeal. It said if you if you were questioning the wage, then you weren't supposed to file for PUA. So I went ahead and I filed the PUA this morning, and then I called the appeals office and I canceled my appeal. So that was the approach that I took on it. It's unbelievable that I got a document that had a phone number on it for the appeals office, and I called it, and somebody answered the phone, and he said, yeah, I can take care of that for you. Give me your social security number, and I gave it to him, and he said, can you confirm your address? And I said, or no, he said, your mailing address is still da 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 da. And I said, yeah. I just applied for the PUA. I want to cancel this appeal because it took too long, and I can just get money right away.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, I wouldn't wait. Don't wait, because you're not. It's just a long process. This appeal. I mean, I applied a month ago. I appealed 2 weeks ago, and they denied my appeal, and then they wanted me to go to a hearing. I was like, no, I can get money within a week. So why go through all of that? What's the point? So my recommendation is go through the website today and apply.
Yeah, interesting. So I see that Andrew here, he says, I fear, and so many do in California, that we filled out some parts wrong. However,
Go ahead.
Oh, let me see. However, it did ask for my net income at the end. Do you think they'll disqualify a lot of people over minor mistakes? And I think this is a good question, Jay, because I know, like, I filled out, some of these forms, and it's pretty confusing, right? Like, I guess I'm curious to know how you've handled, right? Because we're not experts in going through unemployment and PUA and all these different things. So for items that you haven't known, like, how have you approached it? I know for myself, like, I kind of have gone in with the approach that it's kind of like, hey, I'm going to do my best, but I'm not going to, let my application get held up over a small detail or something like that.
Yeah, progress over perfection, for sure. I just jump in and answer the questions to the best of my ability. That's all we can do, And slowly but surely, people are starting to see some results, which is great. I mean, what's happened today is fantastic for those of us in California, that we can actually, see some progress. But yeah, my approach is just jump in. Probably the most daunting task was the PPP application, where they do ask for a lot of documents, and you got to find a fintech company if you don't have a bank relationship, and then you got to upload a lot of documents, and then you just sort of wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, just don't be shy. Just jump in, because most of these things seem to be based on first come, first serve. So you want to get at the tip of the spear.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because even the PPP, for example, like, I know I was one of the first people probably to apply for a PPP loan myself, and heard nothing back, and then it saw that the money all ran out. But at the same time, sort of the downside, and that's the thing, I think we've had a lot of, I would say, constructive criticism from we've had some constructive criticism from our viewers saying, oh, there's not going to be any money. You guys are, wasting time. You're not going to get anything. And so I've sort of said to myself, well, what's the downside, right? I'm not spending money. I've got a lot of free time right now. So I'm basically, for something like PPP, if I spend an hour or less filling out the application, I'm not going to, hold my breath over it. But if I do get something, great. Then.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I applied for a $20,000 forgivable loan, and it took an hour. If I make $20,000 for that hour of time, great. Yeah.
And I will share.
Why hold off? Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I will share a little personal news on my end that was good news, but I know kind of pissed you off, Jay, is the fact that this morning I woke up, and let me see if I can actually, I think I can pull up maybe my tweet. I shared an image of it, but I woke up this morning and checked my bank account, and I had a $1,000 deposit from I think it's at SBA Treasury, and I kind of Googled it, and I'm pretty sure that it's the EIDL loan, because I don't have $1,000 coming in from anywhere else, so I'm basically 99% positive. So I actually got my EIDL loan this morning for $1,000, and I guess it's actually not a loan. I guess it's a grant, since I'll be using it for payroll, right? And I know that, but I don't think, like, you and I have been sort of doing the process the exact same the whole way along, and for some reason I got it and you didn't.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that?
I don't
But
know what's up with that, but I think if anything, the positive that I would take out of that is that, again, it's sort of like there's no guarantees with this, right? It's not like I'm being favored over you or vice versa. I think it's, we're both sort of doing the right things and going through the right process. And sometimes it's just like the luck of the draw, I guess I would say.
right, right. You might have done it before me. Yeah, it's.
You know,
I think with computers, we think it's also all these things break.
yeah.
These systems are not built to handle the incredible volume, and I think a lot of stuff has just gotten lost and gets reordered, and you just got to, like I said, just keep going in, keep going in, keep going in when you have an opportunity, and eventually something's going to come out.
Yeah. So I see a question here from Caesar. He says, "Can you get straight to the point, guys? How to do it all the steps in California?" So I'm not sure exactly which process he's referring to, but I know, Jay, you have a video that we're going to release very shortly, either later this evening or first thing tomorrow morning, where you actually went through the California website and applied for PUA. So Caesar, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you can get notified of that. But maybe, Jay, you can give the high level, sort of 30-second overview of that process.
Yeah. So there's like two websites, and we put a link to both of the websites underneath the email, underneath the video. One of them is like an information site. It's got all these questions and answers for the PUA. The other one is the more standard unemployment benefits page, but now it's been augmented to incorporate PUA. Mm-hmm. And you basically got to go, and it says it's UI online. You got to click on the link that says UI online.
Yeah.
And then there's a series. You just click on a couple different things to get into it, and then either set up your account, or if you've already tried, you already have an account, you just put in your email and your password, and then you go through a series of about 5 screens. They ask you a bunch of questions. You do not have to submit any documents, and then at the end, they show you the whole screen, and you make sure everything's accurate. They ask for your address because they're going to send you a debit card, and then you hit submit. And you're not going to get an email confirming it. You do get a number, so you want to take a screenshot of that last page where it shows you your application number, and then we just wait 4 to 7 days for something to come in the mail.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, and I know that we'll have a video on that will go into all the details, so you guys can definitely check that out. I saw another, so that should answer your question, Caesar. Allison says...
Can I just say, somebody asked for the phone number for the appeals office, and I put that in there. So if you just go through the comments, you'll see I put the phone number that I had for the appeals office to cancel your appeal if that's something you want to do.
Okay. Let me see if I can find that again. Feel free to type that in, and I can... I guess if you shared it, then people can also find it that way, and take care of that. And Allison did ask, am I the only one? Where did her comment go? I'll put it back up on the screen if I can. Oh, there's your...
Am I the only one who can't get to the site? Is it crashing? Yeah. They said it was supposed to start at 5:30 in the morning, and it was like real easy to get in and get on. And then somebody was on KCBS on the radio saying that that you could actually apply at 10 a.m. And I checked at 10 a.m. and I couldn't get on because the site crashed. And then I got on and nothing had changed. It was the exact same. So I just wanted to space it out, and that's why some people were saying 10 o'clock in the morning, but it was available all morning. So yeah, that's happening because Allison. Millions of independent contractors in California are all, trying to get their fair share of the money.
Yeah, and I like this comment here from Andrew. He says on Facebook Live, Julie Sue, who I think is some representative in California, I think she's a treasurer or someone important in the EDD department, said all they would ask for is income and later ask for more if needed. She made a point to get money out fast, so denying people over small mistakes would waste time. And that's definitely something I agree with, and I think something we've heard right now. A lot of people, whether they're on the government or at the companies, everyone's sort of just trying to get money into as many people's hands as quickly as possible. So again, I would would worry less about, like obviously you don't want to go and lie on these statements, but, sort of fill out a lot of these applications to the best of your knowledge, and then, kind of make sure that you can just get something in, because we are seeing that being first, getting things in first, like definitely helps, like with the PPP and some of these other programs, it seems like being first helps, and then that way you can kind of make sure you're one of the first people to get paid, and don't let, some small question that may or may not be that important hold up money coming in your bank account.
Yeah, she's a big deal. She's the Secretary of Labor and Workplace Development, Julie Sue.
Totally. Sorry, Julie. In case you're watching, I totally messed up.
All hail, Julie. Yes.
Yeah, and I do want to bring in a couple questions, because obviously we've talked about California so far. Jay and I are both based in California. I know we get a lot of viewers from other states, and so I definitely want to address some of your questions. I do see Dustin. What's up, Dustin? He's over here, another good YouTuber. You guys, I know he's been doing a bunch of videos, so you can check out his channel if you haven't seen it already. And I want to bring this comment in from Tanya. She's over watching on LinkedIn Live right now, and she says, do you know any information about Florida UI? And I have a hunch that Jay or I are not experts in Florida unemployment for Uber and Lyft drivers, but what we've been trying to do with a lot of these videos is teach you guys the principles, right, that are working, right? Because every single state, all 50 states are going to be different, and we're not going to be able to make a step-by-step process for every single state, but each state is going to ask very similar types of questions, right? I know in a recent video that you did, Jay, sort of before the PUA was announced, we discovered, that there were these 3 states that were already classifying drivers technically as employees. So you sort of were supposed to apply for unemployment through the employee method, and that's what you did. And then, when you didn't get paid that way, you went and did the PUA, right? So it's sort of like, I think when you guys are watching these videos and listening to these questions, it's going to be hard for us to, know the exact process in all 50 states, but the principles, are definitely the same. I know, Jay, you just did a video though, looking at a bunch of different states' programs. Did you notice anything there, or you sort of think similar?
I don't remember anything about Florida, but I do. All you can really do is Google Florida unemployment application, right, or Florida unemployment office, and I guarantee you the first thing that's going to come up is the place you need to go. Yeah. Click on it, and they'll either tell you that if your PUA is set up to apply, and otherwise they'll probably tell you that it's not ready yet, and they'll tell you a date that it's going to be ready. So that works for all 50 states. Get the information for your own state, bookmark that page, check it every day, and that way when something happens, you're ready to go.
All right, I like this question because this applies to everyone in every state. James on YouTube says, so what should be our priority, PUA, unemployment, or PPP? What do you think, Jay?
I say unemployment first, because that's by far the easiest to get. We all qualify because we're Uber drivers. And look, 16 weeks at $600, that's $9,600. So if you haven't worked since the beginning of April and you're not going to work till the end of July, that's $9,600 plus at least another $150 a week on top of that. So that's another couple thousand. So that's not bad. And there's really nothing to get approved for. So that would be job number one. The EIDL has been a disappointment. It's only $1,000, but it's an easy $1,000. Some people seem to get it and some people don't. We've had lots of readers who've said they've gotten it. And the PPP is a long shot, but it's a big money long shot. If you drove and let's say you made just $5,000 a month, well, it's 2.5 times that. That's $12,500 that you can apply for, and as long as you pay yourself that money, it's totally forgivable. Yeah. So it's worth finding a fintech company. I personally am recommending Lendio, Lendio.com. They are processing the most loans. They've hired like 200 extra people, nice. And they're all on top of it. So that's the one to go for, and give yourself an hour of time, give them as much information as you can, and get on the list, because that is a first come first serve program.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good breakdown. And actually, maybe well, Lendio didn't pay us to recommend them, but maybe we should reach out to them and see if we can get them to sponsor one of our videos or two, because I know that you're a big fan of them. You're using them yourself, and they seem like they could probably get a lot of new clients. So that might be something they're interested in. Rideshare Helper says, anybody get any EIDL grants? And I think we started hearing from viewers that some were getting $1,000 EIDL grants about a week ago, and then I will if you weren't watching earlier, Rideshare Helper, I mentioned earlier on the stream that I got one. So there's definitely some people starting to get EIDL grants. The PPP loans, I think, are the much tougher ones. I don't know that I've heard of a driver getting a PPP loan yet, so we'll see what happens there. So I think that should answer your question, James. Tanya says, here's a good technical question. Again, Tanya from LinkedIn. She says, Florida is still crashing, technical issues as well. Told me to start all over after 3 weeks. And I know a couple other people mentioned in California, like this morning, they were having issues. And I think, Jay, you summed it up perfectly. Like, these sites are getting flooded with applications, and this is like kind of pretty old technology, like kind of crappy software, hardware. So it's not a shocker. But what I will say is that you'd be surprised, like if you try a different browser, if you go into incognito mode on Chrome, if you try on your phone, if you try on your wife's or your girlfriend's computer, like just give it a few tries. And I think especially if you're compiling a lot of information, you can put that into a Word document so that you can just kind of quickly copy and paste into any applications, or if anything freezes or times out or anything like that, you have that. So if you are experiencing any technical issues, that's kind of what I would recommend there, because I think just in general, like the way some of I run a website, so I sort of know sometimes just by switching the browser or depending on the location of the country you're in, you can actually get a different result, which is crazy. But that's how I would handle that. Any other feedback on like technical issues, Jay?
I think it's just important to say that, or just take a moment here and catch our breath. We're going through a once in a lifetime experience here. I mean, my mother, who's 81, said she's never experienced anything like this. You got to go back to the Great Depression, and systems aren't built for this. So there's going to be breakdowns, and Harry's right. Just there's different ways to try different computers, different browsers. Just keep trying. I would also say, if you can start when look at what the hours are. Like this morning, I got up at 5 a.m, which is not my normal wake up time anymore. And I got right through really quick. It only took me like 20 minutes. There was no latency at all. I guarantee you, if you waited till 10 o'clock in the morning, you had a really hard time getting through it.
Yeah, and I know we have a couple people saying that you can't apply for both, you can only apply for one of the other. And I feel like I've seen that in a couple places, but I'm not sure that I've verified you can actually, I guess I haven't seen an official source saying that you can't apply for...
What are the other of what?
I'm assuming PPP and unemployment, or someone else said EIDL and unemployment, but I'm not sure why applying for EIDL and getting that would exclude you from unemployment. They sort of seem to me like two separate programs. And I guess if you do get approved for both, that seems sort of like a good problem to have. If it ends up being an issue, return the EIDL, because that's going to be less.
Right. I agree. Since very few people have gotten anything, don't try and outsmart it ahead of time, because if you think you're going to get one and you then don't apply for the other, and then you don't get the thing you thought you're going to get, then you're screwed with nothing.
Tony does say over on YouTube, he said, I was disqualified for unemployment because I was given $1,000 from the SBA EIDL relief program. Do you know what I could do next? So definitely, I'm interested to learn more about that, Tony. If you want to shoot me an email, harry@therideshareguy.com, we can help you look into that, because I think that's actually the first case I've heard of someone actually, getting a letter saying that you cannot get unemployment because you applied for the EIDL. And I mean, if that's the case, we definitely want to educate people, because I know, Jay, you and I and everyone, we're kind of like all in this together. We're trying to figure this stuff out. I sort of don't personally, I don't take anything as gospel until I see a letter from the state that's like, you were denied because of X, Y, and Z,
Right. I'm curious how the state knew he received the $1,000.
Exactly. That's the other thing.
Because I've not heard of anyone getting $1,000. We've heard a lot of people say they got $1,000, but they didn't say they got any letters, indicating what that reader just said.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he just volunteered that information when he was applying for unemployment, and that it wouldn't seem to have disqualified him, but it might have reduced his amount,
Right.
by that $1,000. But yeah, we need more
Yeah,
information.
and that's sort of what this comment I put up on the screen just now from Key says, what does the EIDL have to do with unemployment? And that's sort of what I'm thinking. I think that they're completely separate issues, but we are, and so this is why I think I know I've been looking into this. Randolph says that my accountant told me one or the other, PPP or EDD, and so I have heard this in a few places. Like I said, though, I just haven't been able to verify it, kind of like with not necessarily an official source, but like just because an accountant says it, like a lot of these accountants are trying to figure these things out right now too. So not to say that they don't know what they're talking about. It's just so new.
It's the wild, wild west. I mean, the PUA program was just invented, so I don't think there's any source that has said this is the rules. It's we're figuring out as we go.
Yeah, Spacey says Illinois unemployment told me you can go for the EIDL and keep unemployment benefits, but she wasn't super convincing. What do you guys think? I think sort of the same advice applies, because we may end up seeing like maybe this is an issue for certain states and not for others. I like this question. What does PUA stand for? Do you know, Jay? I think I know.
PUA?
If you don't, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Yeah.
Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. Maybe what other three-letter terms are there? EIDL is Economic Injury Disaster Loan, right?
You're right. PPP is Paycheck Protection Program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there EDD?
Yeah.
I guess that's what does that stand for? Employee Disability.
EDD, I don't know what that stands for.
I know
That's
it has
a California
something to do with